Oh, I know I'm a little late on even making one of these type of videos because, yeah, I've been busy with work and all the good shit. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Y'all probably don't even want to hear about that, so it is what it is. Yeah, we barely beat the Eagles. That's whatever. I kind of saw that coming. We have Josh Johnson at the helm. We had Ben Sinnott, who luckily got a chance to start. I know a lot of people are like, why are you so obsessed with like Ben Sinnott? Why does everybody want Ben Sinnott to go out there? Why the hell are we drafting these players and nobody goes out there? That's the question I always wanted to ask. Why is that the case? But this season was hard to watch. Getting this 2024 miracle season and everything like that, and then we turn around and get this season and it all fall apart. And it happened before we even started the actual regular season. It happened in the off season with, Adam Peters just dragging his feet and, Terry's agent dragging his feet to get this deal done to extend Terry. That was already a bad fucking sign right there. Some questionable things with like the trading. I don't think the trading was questionable. I think LT was a good, acquire. Debo was alright, I guess. It wasn't that bad. I would bring him back if the price is right. Let's get that straight. If the price is right, I'll bring him back and I'll still draft a wide receiver. I don't give a damn. But yeah, it was not the season we expected. It damn sure wasn't the season we hoped for. We all expected, way, way, way more. But hey, that's just the name of the game. You feel me? But yeah, I don't know. This season was so bad, so bad. And it's not just like something you can point at one person or like just one section of the team. You can point at everybody, maybe outside of Josh Harris. Like, you can point at Adam Peters for orchestrating this shit-ass roster and how he went about with his free agents, getting nothing but old people in here who are way past their prime. That's on him. That's legitly on him. You feel me? Like, and even when you're drafting these players and whatnot, you reached on, like, Ben Sinnott. You reached on, I don't even know when we got Luke. I thought we got Luke in like the 5th or whatever. But nah, you reach on a few players and that's not here anymore. The offseason probably was the most downside of it. I think for sure was probably the downside of it. Not getting an edge in the last draft. It really showed that we were screwed from the jump. We were all begging and, pleading, go get a draft. No matter what round, just get an edge. And they didn't do it. Like, he didn't do it. So I don't know about that one. And then the coaching personnel has made a lot of, crazy and like head scratching decisions. You feel me? Like Dan Quinn sometimes with the time management, the timeouts and everything like that. It was bad. It was so bad. Hell, you can watch it the last game. They burned through timeouts so fast. So fast. It was so bad. Or his decision to take away the DC coordinator, role away from Joe Witt, who was bad. He had no experience at DC. And I don't care what nobody said. The defense looked bad for 2 years in a row. Mediocre in the 2024 season because it was overshadowed by our offense who was carrying the heavier load in that whole situation. Let alone, it just got worse now, even when they were healthy. I know injuries are a thing, but like, again, in the earlier games, they were bad. They were really bad. The Giants game, we got fucking, scapegoated out because, rushing them looked terrible. The Giants were fucking ass, so we looked good in that, well, for the most part, in that aspect. But after that, it just got worse. Green Bay, we got waxed because they made no fucking adjustments. The Raiders, we let Geno get 3 TDs off of us. Like, it's so bad. People ignore a lot of the bad shit with Joe Witt, and I will never understand. Even in the personnel, he had enough. He had enough. Look around the other fucking teams in the league. No one made excuses. They just got the job done for the most part. So, no, I'm not trying to hear none of that. I'm never going to try to hear those excuses ever. Like, ever. I'm not trying to hear none of that. And then with Cliff, even though Cliff was like 4th in rushing, 7th in, red zone offense and everything like that, one thing I do not like about like the offense is like in certain situations, obvious situations, where you need to run the ball, you decided to go and pass it. Passing it on 3 consecutive downs instead of just running it on short yardage. On a 3rd and 1, you go for a 30-yard bomb, and I think it was like Kansas City's game, and it just went nowhere. It just sailed right past Terry. That's bad look. That's a bad look. In the Minnesota game, in a time we were in the red zone where Chris Rodriguez was cooking, you decided to do like a fucking trick play to throw it at Brandon Coleman. It was bad. That's the type of stuff that's just like, it's head scratching and it's just annoying. So I was like, yeah, I see why they were let go, because it's so annoying how they fail to adjust, or let alone it just looked like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Like, granted, Clips, I would probably brought him back because, again, his offense did work. It's just he failed on having a decent run pass balance, let alone adjusting to what we needed to do. Because running seemed to be allergic for a while, and Bill, C-Rod, and all of them would have way more yards and way more touches if they would just absolutely stick with the running. Now, I get it, we were playing behind a lot, but that's not the issue. The issue is you gotta stick with it. No adjustments ever. And then the last thing I would say about why they probably released legitly is because of the refusal to use the younger players. After a certain point in the season, you already knew the season was chopped. Like, half of our team was in the fucking hospital, on crutches, something, couldn't even travel with the team. It was time to see what we got from the draft. And the refusal to use that, like, use any of them, just keep going with these old vets, that gives us nothing in this upcoming offseason, which I'm terrified of right now. Yes, I'm 100% terrified, because not only we have to find a new DC, now we gotta find a new OC, now we gotta see what's up with this free agents, now we gotta see how the fuck this draft is gonna shake out, is because we have no idea with this roster. The only guarantees right now with this roster, JD5, Terry, Bill, damn, is that the only running backs on the roster? Shit. I mean, Luke is coming back from injury. Jalen Lane was all right as a punt returner. I know, as a Virginia Tech fan, he's a good wide receiver. Trust me, he is a good wide receiver. We just don't use him correctly at all. The whole line was actually decent. I'll bring back Chris Paul. But, yeah, the defense, you might as well just, like, you can pick and choose because they struggled all around. But there's no guarantees for the most part. Outside like maybe two handfuls of, players out there. And that's on all of them. That's legitimately on all of them. Because I can't say Ben's going to be a fucking hit at tight end. Can't say that. I can't say, like the corner's going to be fine outside of Trey Moses because he got hurt. But the safeties, cooked. They chopped outside of Will Harris. The linebacker core, slow. The D-line, the edges can't do shit. So there's a lot of just like question marks all over the place. How will this organization respond? Who knows? And we will have to find out in a few months, you know what I mean? So that's why in the future videos, I'm just gonna hope and expect and make my like dream list of how this offseason to go. But Lord knows, we cannot do the same thing over again. I'm not trying to hear injuries is a fucking excuse. I will never hear that shit as an excuse, ever. I know it does hinder the team, but look everywhere else. There are 10 plus win teams that have major injuries and are doing fine. So I don't want to hear that shit ever. We need competent players. We need competent head coaches, not head coaches, just coaches in general. And just pray to God we hit on this draft. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share what you know. And comment down below, how do you feel about this horrendous season that we just endured as a family? You feel me? Do you have hope for the off season? Sorta. Are you scared for the off season? I think we all are. But it's your boy Easy. Till next time, y'all.